All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm going to go ahead and make this video here this morning, and I hope that it brings some type of clarity and understanding and comprehension to a lot of you out there. And I'm going to go ahead and deal with this subject because I've had quite a few emails sent to me, people concerned about our position and our stance and what's to happen in case there is the death of a spouse. And of course, the question is something like this. So let me form this and phrase this in such a way that you can comprehend what I'm saying. All right. There are perks and there are benefits to actually being tied up to this world. For instance, if you have a large family, let's say you have 5 children, and your husband dies. Believe it or not, you can take your birth certificate, Social Security card that you probably have from the system, and you could actually go and apply for some type of help or Social Security, whatever it is, and more than likely they will give you $4,000 a month until those children are 18 or grown. Think about that for a second. That's a benefit. But also with those benefits comes liabilities, such as anytime they want, they can bring forbear Department of Human Services down upon you. They can make you take your children to public school. They can keep you from homeschooling your children. They can force you to take vaccines because, after all, you are actually benefiting from their system. And if you're going to have your children, if you're going to have your children in their system, you're going to have to comply to their laws. See, so there's a cause and effect to everything. But however, if you live in such a manner like we do at Straightway, and I'm talking about only for those that own the community. If you live in such a manner the way that we do on Straightway, and if your spouse dies, then because of the community, then we are responsible. We are responsible for your spouse and your children if the breadwinner of the family passes on. In other words, we do exactly what the Bible says. Those that are widows, we take care of them, who are widows indeed. We actually take care of them. All right, so, man, this wind's blowing, so I hope you're not hearing it. But anyway, and of course, she doesn't have to worry about working. She can center her attention and focus upon rearing and raising the children. All right, but at the same time, she can't go run down to the Social Security Administration office because the child doesn't belong to the state. The child doesn't have a Social Security number, doesn't have a birth certificate, and they don't have any vaccinations. So she's free to homeschool her children. And you got to ask, does it benefit you? Now, we don't command or demand anyone. It's an informative choice and decision that you alone have to make yourself. But on the community, we're just telling you what we don't do. We also telling you in the whole of the ministry what we do not do. All right? I'm just checking the wind, trying to make sure the mic is fine. Now, when you live outside of the community, you probably better make some choices and decisions that is probably going to be in your best interest, especially if you have not moved or your leaders haven't moved to actually set up a homestead, set up a community, a place that could be yours without the interference or the intrusion of government employees coming in and harassing you, putting you under distress by trying to come and use the authority that has been granted and given to them by consent because you signed some liability or waiver papers or contracts, whether you understood the terms and conditions of it or not. It's totally irrelevant. So I wanted to say that and let people know. Now, listen, believe me, I'm sensitive to everybody out there who have these concerns, but you have to understand you need to make an informative decision here. And again, you got to ask, is your natural family going to take care of you if you choose to follow this way and not get a birth certificate? If you choose to not get a Social Security card or Social Security number for your children? Because when you don't do that, then you keep your children outside the jurisdiction and the scope and the tentacles of the state. But if you do comply and you do actually what they say, and you go out and you get a Social Security number, whatever you want to call it, then guess what? You have to comply to what their dictates and their mandates. You have to give them their vaccinations. You got to do all these things. So it's a trade-off. So y'all have a business decision to make. That's what you have to do. We at Straightway, We choose to keep our children outside this scope right there. So, and believe me, and there's people, we've had spouses pass away, even some of them before they come to the ministry. And a wife has been survived, and the children's, you know, the man left about 4 or 5 children, and sometimes they get anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month just because they have children. But you need to know this also. You better be wise when you have that money, because when you get older and those children get grown, that money cuts off.